If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Electricast. There are people out there all across the country pushing boundaries to grow the game of golf. Like champion speed golfer Lauren Cupp, who plays faster than anyone else. And Will Lowry, whose work in the golf community inspires more kids to get into the game. As a champion partner of the Masters, Bank of America supports everyone determined to find out what's possible. In golf and in life. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC, copyright 2025, Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
McDonald's meets the Minecraft universe with one of 6 collectibles and your choice of a Big Mac or 10-piece McNuggets with spicy Nether Flame sauce. Now available with a Minecraft movie meal.
At participating McDonald's for a limited time, a Minecraft movie only in theaters.
It's missing the point. It's the power ranking show. We're ranking this week, doing something a little differently. We're ranking forms of power. Number 1 is wind. Number 2 is nuclear. Sorry, someone's shaking their head vigorously at me. No, we're not doing that. We're doing football again. Okay, great. Well, here we are. It's the power ranking show. Myself, DK Sizzle, your charming and vivacious host, as always. I'm here with the real BK, Bob Kelly, the man who makes the power rankings, pours his blood, sweat, and tears into baking this loaf of bread that we present to you every week. And joining us this week, a man I just did a show with yesterday, a deep dive on the Pats. If you want said deep dive on the Pats, I think it'd be great if you went into this feed, listen to our other show, as well as listening to this one. One first, the other first, doesn't matter. Time's the same. I saw Ray yesterday, and I'm joined by him again today, Hollywood Rayshawn Buchanan. Ray, how are you, man?
Great. Yeah, once again, this is two of these in 5 weeks. Like this is groundbreaking for me. So,
we love it. We love it.
I'll take it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Ray's here because he desperately needs to zoom out from the Patriots to the rest of the league.
Yeah,
because
it's about time though. It's about time that he has to go through this and have to.
Yeah. Welcome to the last.
Yeah, rely on the rest of the NFL for your football boners. You know.
Yeah, I've been there a lot. It's well put, Bobby. It's well put. Bob, how are you, man? Did you enjoy this week? I think you have your red zone back. It sounded like. Or did you enjoy watching every touchdown?
I did. 7 hours of commercial-free football was nice. It was, and it was the longest day of football that I can even fucking remember, bro.
I know. No, because it was the longest day of football ever. I think.
Because there's the delay and stuff, but no, it was good. It ended well. Yeah, it was good. It was a good Sunday.
Amazing. Well, listen, we're going to start off the show with the only piece of news that's really happened this week, or at least the most major. Last week, we talked about Davante Adams requesting a trade. No movement there. Sort of surprisingly, I feel like. I feel like the Raiders are kind of slow rolling that hook. Yeah, I mean, he's obviously never going to play another snap for the Raiders. It's just a matter of where he goes, and I'm just a little surprised that they haven't. I mean, they probably know what they're going to get at this point. But the big news this week coming out of New York City is that Jets head coach Robert Saleh has been relieved of his duties, apparently escorted out by security. Bobby, Ray, and I touched on how gross that was, that we knew that yesterday. Not a very nice thing to do for the man's reputation and career. More information has come out since then that it seems like, yes, Mike was in fact right in our group chat that Aaron Rodgers, because of a decision on the plane back from New York, this is the scoop that I'm hearing. Aaron Rodgers, on the way back from New York, the coaching staff had a discussion, and they decided they're not going to fire the offensive coordinator. What's his name? Harrington?
No, Hackett.
Hackett, there you go. Hackett, they were not going to fire him. They were going to relieve him of play calling duties for the next game. Obviously, we know about the relationship his West Coast offense and he as a human being has with Aaron Rodgers. Apparently by the time late Monday morning rolled around, or I guess it would be late Tuesday morning rolled around, They were watching tape, and Saleh was informed that he was no longer associated with the New York Jets organization. Bob, I heard a little bit from Ray yesterday about what he thought about all that. Now that we've basically confirmed that Aaron Rodgers is as big of a dill hole as we thought, what are your thoughts on the Saleh situation?
News to me. I didn't know that. Wow.
Heard it from a guy who heard it from a guy.
That's something.
He was also then on Pat McAfee. And I mean, I'd let you draw your own conclusions from that. I'd let you draw your own conclusions from that. But for me, he looked like a guy who was sort of stammering to lie about what happened. But again, I am in no way hiding my bias against that guy as both the former quarterback of my most despised team and someone whose ideologies and values do not align with mine whatsoever. So, we're skewing hatred towards Aaron Rodgers, but maybe you can shine some light on what's going on over there. He didn't have a good record.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I wasn't surprised by the move when it happened. I'm more shocked by this Aaron Rodgers thing because only 2 weeks ago, it was a laughing Aaron Rodgers at a press conference. Being like, I got my first victory in Jets uniform, all this other stuff. And now all of a sudden he's forcing a coach out the door within 5 weeks. That's wild.
Look, their offense looks like
the offense looks definitely.
I don't know who's
but Saleh's defense. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of those games we were looking at them, 10-9. 10-7, very we have a good defense but not a good offense sort of vibes coming out of New York, which I think you could maybe sort of try to see out and just try to make corrections. I mean, it is a weird time to be firing a coach, isn't it, right? It's a strange week for first coach fired. I feel like usually it takes longer. I haven't done the actual numbers on that, but just my vibes.
I mean, I think there was a thing that came out yesterday when the news dropped that it was the first time they'd done this since the 70s. I think when Lou Holtz, legendary college coach, but has
probably not the first time they should have, but yeah, fair enough.
Right, yeah, but I'm saying, but this is not
really
this is not something. This is the norm,
surprising.
Right? They do surprising, right? So obviously they've had, from Al Rowe to Bill Parcells.
It's not that common of a practice. I'm sort of leaning across the league.
There's at least
the Bears
one a
have
year.
never done it.
Right.
There's at least one year.
Sure.
But if you think about it, if there is certain franchises that just have a culture of not fucking doing that, the Bears have never done it. We've never ever once fired a coach mid-season. So, I would take that for what it's worth. I know the Cowboys have.
I'm pretty sure,
right, Bob? I mean, they just seem like they would have. I can't think of
it's probably.
I can't think.
Maybe something that
not
happens
because Landry was the coach for so long, and it went Landry right to Jimmy Johnson, didn't it?
Yeah, and then Parcells. That there's no way you're firing Bill Parcells mid-season, right?
Didn't it go Landry right to Jimmy Johnson?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, Landry went 1-15, and then that's what happened. But to speak more on what you just asked, it's really, so we kind of tested it toward the tail end of our show. But it was wild, like you said, to hear that information, unfold or come out saying that he wasn't allowed, to basically say goodbye to the team. It just shows obviously that, it's basically the team or the player that was running the asylum there. And
or the player
that should not be. Yeah. Well, no, but it's. I mean, we say player, but I'm like, there was probably more involved than just that one player. Obviously, that player made the decision because obviously you don't make that decision without speaking to, that player. So obviously he had the final say. But it's wild. And once again, it's Nathan, Nathaniel Hackett should be thanking his lucky stars because the fact that you was in Denver and your claim to fame was Aaron Rodgers. The fact that you only have a job because he has a rapport with you, that's another thing that's wild in itself. He'll never get another head coaching job in the NFL again, in my opinion. Regardless of what he does. So Either way, to me, they did Robert Saleh wrong. Once again, last year to me was a wash because, Rodgers getting hurt 4 plays into the season. To give him 5 games really doesn't make sense. If you thought they were going to be 5-0, then you're not really a fan of the New York Jets. Like, there's no, once again, as someone who was, like I said, been a New England fan his whole life, I have never seen the Jets dominate. Never. Once again, they had a few good years. So whether it was Seth DeVerde, whether it was Favre, my personal favorite guy out of the bunch was Chad Pennington. I thought he was really good there.
Mark Sanchez.
And then they had a couple of years. Mark Sanchez, you know what I'm saying? So it's like they've had certain stints with guys, but never continued success. So I don't know where Woody Johnson was coming from with making the statement he made, like, our expectations were high. Well, they should be high coming into the season, but you guys they haven't won since 1969. Like, Lyndon B. Johnson was still in office. Like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Neil Armstrong just walked on the moon. Like, it's unbelievable what had just happened. When they last won. So I don't know, man. It's just like, my dad had an afro. Like, there's a lot of things that's taken place since they've won. So I just don't know where this newfound expectation is coming from. And like you guys said, like, Aaron Rodgers has not been that guy the last 2 years. So for them not to at least give it 10 or 11 games, like after game 10, he was like, look, we're 5-5, we want to let you go. Okay, that'd be more justifiable. But 2-3, when you're really just a game out the division, it's pretty comical to me. But hey, that's what the Jets do.
Yeah. Wade Phillips.
Wade
Phillips.
Yeah.
Started in 2010 after starting 1-7. So they gave him at least.
Okay, yeah, that's different. That's different. That's different.
Yeah, I do think it was a little soon. And one win. I mean, it's just different. I feel like the Jets have looked like they could win games at times. So yeah, I mean, I think it was a surprise all around, especially how it was handled. And quite frankly, I echo your sentiments, Ray, that it's still the fucking Jets, dude. A lot of people were super high on them in the offseason, and I was just kind of like, I'll
especially
when I see
that loss wasn't Saleh's fault. That was Aaron Rodgers. He had some really bad throws in that game. Just for the record, I don't know.
No, I mean,
yeah,
agreed. It wasn't good.
All right, we're going to go to cross-offs. We've only crossed off one team, and that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They, of course, right after we crossed them off, went and won a game, but they're still not making the playoffs, so I'm not uncrossing, and we're not going to have a discussion about it. Titans, they had a bye, so a stay of execution from the cross-off list could be coming next week, maybe the week after. The Raiders lost to the Broncos, and they're about to play the Steelers. You guys cool if we cross the Raiders off? Is it too soon?
Gardner Minshew. The only reason I didn't cross him off prior to is because of Gardner Minshew, because I just like him, but he kind of looked like
really.
I don't know. He's one of those frisky backwards.
It's not for watching him play quarterback well. I'll tell you that much.
It's the leather coat that he wears every.
It must be from something else. It must be from. Does he do a podcast? Because it's definitely not from watching him play well. Because there's no way that's ever happened. All right,
I mean, it's happened. He's a frisky backup. Yeah, he's a frisky backup.
Yeah, a few games.
What do you have? Like 2? You're like thinking of 2 games.
I'm actually thinking of.
We would have taken them up.
Games. Yeah, I have a few. Right.
Yeah, 2 specific Jacksonville games. All right, cool. Yeah. Let's not litigate the is Gardner Minshew good argument. I'd like to cross the Browns off because
oh my god,
they're so bad.
Deshaun Watson.
I can't believe how bad they are.
They just need to do it. They need to. They need to bite the bullet, and Jameis Winston needs to play quarterback. I don't give a shit.
2 weeks.
I don't care.
2 weeks too long at this point. If he plays again, unless they're at some just punishing him at this point, where it's like whatever, I want to see him get
and it's like
more times. Like he's not going to care if he gets benched.
The defense is middle of the road this year, but it's just because Deshaun Watson can't stay on the fucking field. They were like 1 of 18 on 3rd down this past week, something insane like that. When
I mean his any number you look at. It's so bad. Anything you take into account, he's a bad quarterback by every single metric you could possibly come up with.
When you're on Jacoby Brissett level, it's bad.
He's worse than Jacoby Brissett. He's worse than Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett has has Deshaun Watson completed a pass? I haven't fucking seen it if it's happened. It's so bad to watch, man. I don't want them anywhere near my television.
It's a tie, but I appreciate it though. But it's a tie.
Fine. I'll give you that. Don't worry, because as much as I don't want the Browns to be on my television anymore, unfortunately, this is going to be cue the Undertaker music. The final week for the Pats on the Power Ranking show. They are officially crossed off.
They're a bad football team.
Listen, they were crossed off after the Jets game, but I appreciate it though.
No, we kept it going for a second just to see because they were possibly frisky. We all agreed they were possibly frisky. They're not.
They might not win another game.
Wait, before we officially cross them off, hold on.
They really might not win another game. That's a very solid possibility.
But should we give them Drake? Could we give them?
Was it the Colts that one year that won the first week and then went and lost 15 straight games?
Could we make the excuse to just leave him uncrossed off to see Drake Maye 1 week?
Is it official?
Just
Is
one
he playing?
Full game at start. It just started. He's playing. Official. Yep. Starting. It's the whole game. Let's not cross him off yet. Pats survive 1 more week. Hi, Mike. Yes, the Pats survive 1 more week. Not crossed off yet. I just want to see Drake Maye. You never know.
Yeah, what about Miami?
Could be a different
story. If
Tua's
not coming back, we might be able to cross off Miami.
I'm not crossing off a team that has a healthy Tyreek Hill on it. They'll figure something out. Okay. I'm not doing it. I can't, not yet. Not coming off a win. And no, come on. There's good offensive minds over there. They can figure it out. The Rams.
No, we can't cross.
I feel like we all think they're better than their record.
Yeah, they are better than their record.
But they keep
but the
games.
The NFC West is pretty wide open. I mean, it's what the Seahawks are in first, the 3-2, right? So
they could take a dive at any point.
9-8.
It's hard with them though. Yeah, it's hard with them though because we said a lot of the things last year about them not potentially getting there, and then they found a way to sneak into the playoffs. So now, yes, some players have obviously gone and other players are hurt. So it changed a little bit, but they can still find a way. Once again, they just have to get healthy. But I think once again, if we're giving New England 1 more week, we should give the Browns 1 more week.
What do you know that? Do you know the timeline on those two guys? On those
they have a bye week, and then
Cup has been hurt really since
they went to. They have a bye week, and then
I don't know.
They're supposed to come back
in the next couple of weeks.
Well, we'll see. I mean, they're hanging off the edge of possibly winning that division, but you're right. Two skilled players like that come back. I was glad they weren't there against the Bears. I mean, it's a different prospect trying to deal with those guys. All right, stay of execution on the Rams despite their record. Broncos won, so hard to cross.
I love how you
list
the Broncos here, but they're 3-2.
Yeah, but I hate them. I don't. Have you watched the games?
It's pretty bad.
It's a bad 3-2. Come on, it's a bad 3-2. You have to admit they're not going to have a winning record this season. You can tell watching them play, unless you guys think I'm fucking crazy. Ray, you seem like you might think I'm crazy.
No. I mean, listen, I'm blown away that a team led with Bo Nix is 3-2. I'm blown away. It doesn't matter what point in the season. The fact
you were down on him coming into the season. I haven't seen it crazy to turn it around at, but he is winning games.
I was down because they were saying, once again, your quarterback room was Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham, which we know up here very well.
It's kind of like when Tim Tebow was winning games, isn't it? Where you were like, that's not going to last.
No, I'm
it's not as bad. It's not like that. It's not like that.
It's not like that.
What everybody was like, Smash Mouth football, we love it. The Broncos, there was a whole thing.
But he won some games, right? I don't see Bo Nix galvanizing like that. He does not move the meter like that. He doesn't. And once again, when you come in as old as Chris Winkie coming into the NFL, if you know, you better be able to do something. And once again, we talked about it last time on the show. He went 12 of 25 for 60 yards in MetLife Stadium and found a way to beat the Jets 10-9. So, by far the ugliest win of the year, outside of Miami beating New England on Sunday. So yeah, I mean, listen, they're it's a miracle that they're 3-2. But like I said, I just think that they'll come crashing down soon. Once again, you still got to face Kansas City. You still got to face the Chargers at some point. So I just think, to me, at some point they're going to fold like a cheap hat.
I love it. Mainly, honestly, Bobby, they're on the cross-offs list. It's as a carryover because I can't quite put them in honorable mentions. I want to talk about them in a negative light. But I do think that they obviously deserve to be talked about. Okay, we'll talk about the Cowboys when we get to the power rankings. They have made it back in, spoiler alert. Like I said, if you need to know anything that we think about the Patriots, there's a real nice deep dive on this feed. You can listen to this, and then at the end, you can go listen to us talk about them. Bobby, how'd you like that? How'd you like that Caleb Williams breakout game, buddy?
It was nice.
Huh?
It was nice.
Dude's got some skills, I think.
It's nice. I was nice to play the Panthers and the Jags back-to-back weeks. It's very get right.
It is nice
right
to play that, but it's like toe in the water, baby. Toe in the water. Have you seen our back end? It's fucking brutal.
It's not great.
It's fucking brutal. So that's fine. I'm completely fine with that. Front loading a rookie QB season with some easy games to try to get him up to NFL speed. But I talked a little bit about this on the other show, so we don't have to do this in too much detail, but would love to know your thoughts, like as the sort of, I know you watch quarterbacks really closely. I mean, we all do, but I think you have a little bit of a boner for quarterbacks. If me and Ray are more in the kind of like sick wide receiver category, you're a real QB guy. So what'd you think? I mean, pretty decent draft class so far.
Well, we'll get to Jaden Daniels, but Caleb looks really good, man. It looks like he's finally breaking defenses down in a way that really
he's got the brain for it.
Delivers itself to play NFL quarterback. He's not looking for that Heisman play every time anymore, which is huge for that rookie quarterback, especially when you're that number one pick, man. All those expectations on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The thing I've really been enjoying, I do. I mean, the thing that I've been really enjoying is we've won time of possession. I think this stat is right. We've won time of possession every single game.
Wow.
So even the games we lost.
You're full of stats lately.
He's able. Yeah, thanks. It's because I deleted all the social media apps. I'm doing a lot more reading. But he, I think, can control an offense, and I think he has the ability to play situational football already, if that makes sense, which I think is really crazy for a guy who's played 5 games in the NFL, which is like not the Jaden Daniels thing that's happened where it's just like he's just balling out. Like he hasn't really had to think about the game and managing it overall in a lot of the context that he's been in. And we will come on to that in detail a little bit more later. But I just feel like he can already read defenses, which is really, really nice. And he's already making calls at the line, and he's already moving stuff around and spotting stuff. And I mean, the guy kind of barely moves when he throws a deep ball. Like he kind of flicks his wrist, and it's like
he's got that Mahomes. He's got that Mahomes flick of the wrist going. He does.
I know. Don't.
He does though. He does.
Do that to me. He made a couple of Mahomesy plays, and I was like, "Oh my god, like, come on!" But I'm trying not to overreact. It was the Panthers. We have Panthers fans in the comment sections of our videos talking about how there's no way, and they're Panthers fans saying there's no way we can know anything about Caleb because the Panthers are terrible, which is fair enough. And it must have hurt seeing DJ Moore.
By the way,
take 2.
By the way, the Panthers didn't even get mentioned on the cross-off list. That's how crossed off they are.
Oh shit! You know what? No, I just totally forgot. But you're absolutely right. We do have to cross them off. I just forgot to write them down. Yeah, Panthers are crossed off, and they'll carry over. We'll mention the cross. Thanks, Bob. All right, cool. So Ray and I had a little talk about the Bears on the other show. We had a little talk about the Pats. I do want to run through a quick list of honorable mentions before we get to the power rankings. The Bengals. I understand why they're not on the list because man, that defense is bad, and they're not winning shit with a defense like that, especially in a division with the Steelers and the Ravens.
That offense is fun again.
It's not, but that offense is a hell of a lot to watch. I mean, Ray, you were up in the fantasy football group chat talking about how you were happy you didn't trade Chase. Genius, because I mean that was a real vintage Jamar Chase game. You know, he was just all over the highlights the other day, and it was always just him in space how did you let him get that open, just making Jamar Chase like plays? And I'm glad for that. I'm glad that offense is back and burning again.
People really overreacted and thought that he was going to be trash. And I'm like, yo, what does he prove? What has he shown you since he got to the league to show that he was going to fall off? Why? Because he missed training camp, that he was gonna suck. Are you crazy? Like this man has been a baller from day one.
Do wide receivers even really fall off when they're like being divas? Like, does that even really happen? Like, I feel like they usually just come back and fucking still show out. You know what I mean? Like, as good as
for the most part,
especially because he didn't get his money.
It still has a error. It still got paid, right? But my thing is, Higgins is gone. Like whenever, like unless they're not going to get that done, so he's gone next year.
What is happening there? Like he's playing weird.
Well, they were going to pay both of apparently. Well, I mean,
Higgins
whatever.
Played pretty good these past games.
It seems like they're putting.
I think that's a mistake, though. I think it's a mistake.
But it seems like I agree. I do think T. Higgins is like one of the best number 2s in the league, if not. Yeah, he's one of the best number 2s in the league. Probably top 5, like second option. I wouldn't. I don't know if I would love having him as a wide receiver 1, but depends on the situation you're in, I guess. But it does seem like those guys do know how to build an offense over there. It does seem like they went out in the offseason and put in some more gadgety weapons. They got that guy, his name's like Hall or something. He's got a really short name. It's like he's that tight end. He's like 9 feet tall. He's fucking enormous. They've got a committee in the backfield that's with Moss and what's the other kid's name? 30 and 31. Moss Brown. And Brown, Chase Brown. And they're looking good back there, you know, like that looks like a backfield that doesn't 100% miss Mixon, and it seems like they're kind of being able to sort of plug and play stuff down there in Cincinnati, and it's just the fact that they seem to have rostered their defense up with a bunch of guys that have never watched a game of football. That can't be true, right? There has to be something in the defensive coordinator side of the ball that's letting up 30 plus points a game.
Well, they lost Jesse Bates.
They've choked 2 games away too. They had that ball.
Yeah, that as well.
But their defense is bad. Their defense is bad. Like, it's bad.
No, it is. I'm saying when you lose Jesse Bates, and you're basically relying on, I think Trey Hendrickson, like who was really a stud. Like, dude is a beast.
One other guy on the D-line
can't do it.
Forget his name.
Yeah. Oh no, Hendrickson. He's
someone else too.
Doesn't matter. Oh, got you. But I'm like, I don't know. Like, obviously, like 2 guys weren't going to be enough to make the defense somewhat formidable. And once again, you're in a division that's very strong, like you just mentioned, DK. So, they're in trouble. And once again, we know the Bengals historically in our lifetimes to not be a team that was going to be a perennial contender. We grew up with the John Kitna, Kajana Carter, Achilles Smith.
Kitna. Hell of a fucking call out there.
Peter Warwick, early TJ Hushmanzada. Who's championship, right? So we grew up with that era. So we know what it's like to see a bad version of the Bengals. And once again, if
you're right, it's pretty Bengalsy. It's been pretty. This is them being pretty Bengalsy since like the 2000, the early 2000s.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, so somebody will appreciate those name references when this drops. But
I do.
I appreciated every one of them.
I know you know that already.
Yeah, so it's just like I just think they're in trouble if they don't right the ship. Sooner rather than later. Because like I said, they're talented, but once again, if you have that many holes defensively. Ultimately, you're going to bottom out to be a 10-7, maybe 9-8 type of team.
I think they'd be lucky to get to 10-7. 10-7 is a hell of a season. Start up 1-4.
Did that get it offensively though? That they can, you know what I'm saying?
But that's the thing. I still like having them on the TV every week. If you're a fantasy owner or one of their players on the offensive side of the ball, I don't know if you do that thing where you play one defensive player or whatever. Don't have it be a Bengal, but every other position, you should go get yourself a Bengal. It's except for T. Higgins apparently this year for whatever reason. But like I said, it seems like they're gadgeting around. Honorable mentions. I had the Falcons, but we actually ended up putting them at 10. The Saints. I just have them here because we've been talking about them. But Bobby, are you ready to admit
the
Saints
are the
Saints? And I was right.
You're right.
And Derek Carr is still going to turn back into a pumpkin at some point, right? Are we there? Divisional game against the Bucks, who are also on the honorable mention list. Ray and I touched on this very, very briefly yesterday. I do have still a little bit of a bugaboo thinking that the Bucs are going to be good because I just see them as the same team that Tom Brady left. And like, my brain doesn't really compute with the idea that you're going to plug Baker Mayfield in where Tom Brady was, and it's going to work with Baker Mayfield, but not with Tom Brady. Like something is going to collapse there, in my opinion. It's kind of working. I mean, they just lost a game. You know what I mean? They lost a game where their defense did not look very good. Tom Brady could probably go in there and put up 30 points with that Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That was a great
game, but you'd see him fucking screaming at people on the sidelines because awesome game. But you'd see him screaming at people on the sidelines because they fucking coughed up 38 points. You know, it's like it's serious. You know, I think there's flaws in that team, and I think that they're the team that has. I mean, they have great skill players. I can't fault that. And like I said that in the offseason, our prediction show, like we should bump them up a few games because they do have guys that are definitely frisky on the offensive side and more than frisky on the offensive side of the ball. And I don't want to be disrespectful to those guys. And I don't think Baker Mayfield's a bad quarterback. Like he's not Gardner Minshew, you know, but I just don't know if he's going to take a team to the promised land that Tom Brady couldn't. That doesn't really compute.
He did. It's just, they just, obviously defensively they got, like you said, they got worse in the seasons after they won his first year there. But
I mean it in the sense of like when Brady doesn't win, it's a story. You know what I mean?
Correct. But I do think, I wonder if now with Devin White being released by Philadelphia, he didn't play a snap for them. Devin White obviously was on that championship team. He was a leader on that defense, when they won. I wonder if they give him a call and say, hey, how do you feel about returning back here? They need it, obviously. They need all the help they can get defensively.
Fell off a cliff fast.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he was like injured or whatever, but like I said, he didn't play a down for Philadelphia, so I don't know what that story was there. Only the locker room knows. But once again, if I'm Tampa and it's like, you want to bring back someone with familiarity, someone that was a leader in that locker room, it's at least a conversation. Once again, it doesn't have to happen, but I think they should at least give him a call and say, hey, how do you feel about coming back here? We plug you right back into where you were, and we just go ahead and try to win as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be super, super down on them, and it's not necessarily even you guys. It's just like the kind of conversation in the national media where I'm like, okay, let's not,
Well, no, they're a twinner. You're not wrong. They're a twinner. They're
super frisky. Super frisky in NFC South.
Right. Yeah. No, but yeah, like I said, Dave's not wrong though. Like, they're definitely a tweener. I didn't expect this level of resurgence from Baker Mayfield. So the fact that it's like, okay.
Yeah, nobody did. Nobody did.
Last year
I think it was when we were surprised, like he had.
Right, exactly. So to still see him getting 2-3 touchdown games, throwing for 250, 300, you're like, wait, like this is still going on? Like, is it still happening?
I know if you just started watching football this year, you would think Baker Mayfield is a top 5 QB.
Right, exactly. And once again, I mean, not we meeting on the show, but just in general, so forget that he was the number 1 pick. It wasn't like he was, the 135th pick overall. Like, he was highly touted coming out of Oklahoma.
Oh, no, totally. It's just that he got drafted by the Browns, right? Which we were trained.
They've been QB killers. And,
yeah. I mean, that's where QBs go to. So people had sort of low expectations. Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's see Joe Flacco. Or
he was he already had the gravitas to be in Joe Flacco when he got in there. You know what I mean? Like he had already won a Super Bowl, had an elite postseason. I think that there's
words they never.
I think that there's. He did that.
I know. Yeah.
He did.
Gravitas.
He had one of the all-time best postseasons ever. And he got absolutely paid. I think that the issue I had with Baker was like, I mean, it sounds silly, but it's just you're gonna have a little less shine on you if you're like a all-American white dude that's gonna be starting QB for the Browns. Like if that version of that guy was gonna win something, it would have been Brady Quinn. So, and that did not happen. So it's hard for me when there's no when it's that thing. And then his stock ticks up slightly when he does those commercials are kind of funny where he lives in the stadium. But then I think there was a year where we probably 3 seasons ago, where we're like, all right, maybe Baker's going to show up on some teams as a backup. Like maybe he'll be going around the league. He'll be in Mac Jones territory with his cap. And then he shows up in Tampa Bay, a team we also wrote off once Brady left. You know, like, well, okay, well, they don't have Brady anymore, so who gives a shit? And like, yeah, we have to eat crow a little bit on that one. They're definitely better than we thought, but I just don't know if they're as good as people say.
You know what they are? They're Minnesota in 2017, 2018, right? I mean, to me, like, listen, for those that say, what? Listen, he's better than not Christian Ponder. Jesus, that's going too far back. He's better than Case Keenum. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm like, the names are mixed up the years, but he's better than Case Keenum. So let's be. I want to be clear.
Case Keenum's perennial backup. You know, he's in a commercial about how he's a backup QB. You know,
yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's where that Minnesota got to the NFC Championship game with Case Keenum. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's they're in that, you know, stratosphere. You know, right now where it's like they can win a couple of playoff games, but you know, as far as going to you know, the Super Bowl, like that obviously doesn't feel attainable, but they'll sneak up on you if you think that they're not gonna. If you think it's sweet against them, you might find out otherwise.
Well, guys, we got to talk about the Green Bay Packers because they're not on the power rankings list. Sorry, the area that is the Green Bay. You're not going to get a ton of Green Bay Packers love on this podcast. I'm a Bears fan. Bobby doesn't seem to fancy him too much. Probably NFC rivalry stuff there of them kind of killing the Cowboys a lot early in the postseason in recent memory. I know Mike's always been down on Aaron Rodgers. Ray, you're probably the highest person on the Green Bay Packers on the list as a sort of general rule. And I know that you're a Jordan Love fan for good reason. So if you wanted to try to alleviate anything on the Packers fan side to try to get them to not hate us right off the bat, even though I'm happy to not have them in the top 10 personally. And I know Bobby is too. How they looking at you?
I think for where they are currently, I think it's justified right now to have them like just right outside of 10. They were going to get spoken about because they've had a decent last couple of weeks since Love has returned. And at the same time, it's like they got to get healthy, right? So obviously, you know, you got Josh Jacobs, you have, you know, Watson and Reed and, you know, Musgrave and the rest of that crew. They have to get healthy and then they have to catch a rhythm in order to get looked at differently. Once again, the scope and the spotlight was on them a little differently because of how last year ended. So they have taken a step back, you know, if we're being objective, right? They've taken a step back. So they got to earn that back. And it's not something where they're not scrubs, not the worst team in the league. But they're right on that line. So I think if they start to play better, and they build some continuity, then yeah, they may squeeze into that 6 to 9 spot. Unless they just completely just start going crazy and they may you know, raise higher on some people's lists. But yeah, right now, yeah, they deserve to be in that honorable mention, that tween list, because once again, they haven't got that continuity yet. But I think they're a team on the rise as they get healthy, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're young too. You know, like don't try to blow all your wad at once, Packers fans. Like, you're a young team. You know, your quarterback's young, your skill players are young. I thought they treated the Dobbs situation correctly. It's really weird because he was bitching about his usage and he's like I think the second highest targeted guy on their team. So I don't really know what the fuck happened there, but it seemed like they got it straightened out. He's probably going to come back and be a weapon for them. It's kind of like they look to me like a team that's needed to get the wheels back on the track a little bit because they got very hard thrown off very hard at the very start of the season. Dumb Friday game in a place that doesn't know how to host a football game with the appropriate level of grass and or turf. And you know, I think that they're trying to right the ship, which isn't easy to do in this league. But they've looked pretty decent in more recent memory. They do have the Cardinals next, who are another honorable mention. Haven't quite cracked the top 10 yet, but they've actually looked pretty good. I think Kyler still does Kyler stuff from time to time that would probably frustrate me if I was a week-to-week Cardinals fan. But I think he's looked pretty good. I think he's made some decent plays. Marvin Harrison Jr. is definitely going to be an elite wide receiver in this league for years and years to come. And yeah, they look frisky. So Packers play the Cardinals. These are our last two honorable mentions. I'm curious where you guys, Ray, I know we got a prediction from you on the other show, but where would you stand on the Packers Cardinals game coming into this? You got Green Bay?
Yes. Yeah. No, I got Green Bay. I don't know who you're talking
about. Yeah,
whoever you got.
Yeah, no.
Whoever you got. But don't you feel like we're betting against the Cardinals every week and we get proven wrong sometimes? I mean, it's.
I mean, I feel like that was. Oof.
The Washington game was brutal. Yeah, that was bad. They got spanked, but it seems like Washington's doing that to everybody though. So.
Yeah. I said we'll talk about it shortly, but yeah, oof, that was ugly. But I don't know. I mean, I think to me, that was a team that was 12-5 a couple of years ago. Maybe 2 they were 12-5, and you go from that to now you're fighting to win every week. Like, just what happened? So I don't know the infrastructure of that organization. I don't know who's leading the team, but yeah, but Green Bay should smoke them come Sunday. Like,
it should smoke them.
Like, it shouldn't be something weird. Because Arizona, to me, it's just, I don't know whether they have to mature. I mean, once again, offensively, they can have moments where, like, oh, okay, like, Connor's still a really good running back.
Immature does seem sort of still to be the kind of appropriate adjective, I would.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I'm like, to me, until they grow up, I can't fully buy into what they're doing. Once again, I think there's some talent there.
But they beat the Niners. Is that how low we are on the Niners?
Well, I mean, I think
Niners are pretty beat up right now.
Yeah, beating the Niners. Yes,
Kyle Shanahan also Minnesota really stupid too.
Well, yes, but I also feel like everyone's kind of catching San Fran at the right time right now, except for New England. And it's just like they just don't. They're not where they're going to be in a few weeks, like you alluded to yesterday, Dave. Like, you mentioned they were going to catch a run, and they're going to, right? I think just right now, because of the injuries, because of how things are being schemed, and other teams are just getting up for them, right? Other teams are getting up for them, and giving them their best shot in that regard for the most part. That team down in Route 1 just didn't know how to show up, but everyone else has showed up, and I think that plays a part
for any non-geographically located outside the box.
Yes.
But
yes. Route 1.
We flew through those two. Bobby, anything on the Niners? I mean, sort of an honorable mention for the Niners, because I do think I'd be very unsurprised to see them back into the top 10 in the power rankings. But is there much more to say than damn season from hell? A lot of injuries. It doesn't see. And yeah, Shanahan. I mean, he's dealing with a lot.
But that was some really questionable decisions down the stretch on Sunday. But I think they had a 10-point lead with like 9 minutes left and blew that. And that's the second time this year they've done that. So, I mean, that's definitely something to keep an eye on. But no, it's season from hell. That's what's going on there. I mean, it started out with McCaffrey before the season even started.
Super Bowl hangover,
season from hell. Thing. It's just it's all rolled up into one. And the only reason that it's
hard to get back on that horse.
Well, the only reason that
you reached the promised land,
they're even 2 and 3 is because Brock Purdy's playing out of his mind. If it weren't for Purdy, they'd be
looks like college Purdy. He's got college Purdy vibes all of a sudden, giving him a little bit more room to go, because you kind of have to, right? There, it's not just. I mean, a lot of criticism of him last season, which I haven't really heard rescinded, was like, oh, he's a system guy. Like, he just needs to do check downs. If you get a Deebo Samuel within 3 yards at line of scrimmage, he's going to run off for a touchdown, which is true. But Brock Purdy's had to make some plays.
But yeah, just quick aside on that, right? Because just like the bubble screen thing makes you upset.
I don't like him.
The system, I know, but the system thing, for obviously for obvious reasons, pisses me off. Can you do the little things elite? And if you can, system or not, that makes you a really good quarterback. He does the little things really well. So it's not just like, oh, can you throw it down the field 50 yards, but you can throw it a mile, but can't pitch it 5 yards.
Can you make the plays to win the game? This show has been pro Brock Purdy for years.
Yeah,
I'm very big on
this show has been.
Yeah, he is someone that
you're in a safe place.
Yeah, exactly. He's played very well, and once again, did he have some moments where he looked subpar? Sure. What quarterback has it? Good or bad? But the dude is good. Like, let's stop it. Like, the dude is good. And like I say, he's becoming elite. I don't think he's elite yet, but he's an excellent quarterback. So give credit where it's due. that can't come in. If that was the case, Trey Lance would have been good too. And guess what? He sucked.
Anyway, as we get into the top 10 here, Ray made a good point before we started the show. I do have to tell people, like, these are very interchangeable positions. You know, it's a very much the 7 through 10 is very, what have you done for me lately? And the Cowboys did beat the Steelers. So the Cowboys being 9 and the Steelers being 8, just based on how they've looked over the course of the season. Cowboys back in makes sense, I think. The Falcons are number 10. And I think the reason why, even though they're winning games and they've looked good and they were responsible for a good Thursday night game, which almost never fucking happens, Kirk doesn't look quite the same, I think, physically. And I think that's telling. Their defense needs to work on trying to make it so that they don't hemorrhage a ton of points against the teams that they have to play. All that being said, it makes complete sense for them to crack the power rankings because we talked about that division already. I mean, they could very easily win 9-10 games and win that division, and they get a week off going into the playoffs, and all of a sudden we have to have a conversation about them. So, Bob, what have you seen from the Falcons that cracked them into the top 10? Do you agree with my assessment that Kirk doesn't quite look the same physically? Is he getting better? Is he coming back? I mean, it's not to say he didn't have a good game. He's making big boy throws, but he does look a little stiff.
No, he definitely looks a little stiff. I mean, once they get him rolling into the play action, he seems to be doing a lot better, and they get those stretch runs going. That's when the Falcons are really rolling.
He's spreading the ball around a lot, which I really appreciate. I've always really appreciated about his game, and him spreading the ball around in that place looks really cool, right? Like, there's a lot of good guys out there. Like, he actually made Pitts look like he cared enough to play tight end again for the first time last Thursday. So, there's things happening down there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely think they deserve a spot in the top 10 at this point. Especially since you look at the offense that we've seen throughout the league, the Falcons definitely have a top 10 offense in the league so far. And there's no doubt about that. I mean, with
I agree.
The points being,
I think statistically, that's
true.
What
I mean?
And that's true. Yeah. Ray, what have you liked from the Falcons? What have you not liked from the Falcons? What's going to move them up this power rankings, and what's going to kick them out of it?
I just think they're consistent.
More consistent than last year, that's for sure.
Well, no, I'm saying but their consistent offensive play will have them, pun intended, but they will have them rise up. They're
not their thing.
Listen, Kirk is back, baby. I'm sorry. You
don't think physically he's looking
509, baby. Sign me up. I was like, wow. I couldn't believe. We haven't seen that from him in a while, even pre-injury. So I was like, I said 509 with this offense here. I was like, whoa. I said, okay, Kirk.
But you don't think physically he looks like he could break in half in any second? I'm not knocking his. He's out there winning games.
I want to be clear. Am I engaging in hyperbole? Absolutely. But I listen. 509 is 509, and he looked really good obviously last week. I think that I think that your premise was a lot more evident the first 2 weeks, because obviously I think that he was, gradually working up to where he is now.
Totally.
Is he moving? Is he moving like phenomenally? No, right. That's I'd be, we'd be lying just to tell you that we see that with our eyes. But he's starting to get back to that point where he was pre-injury, and like I said, Drake London, who it was kind of a reach when they got him at 10 a few years back. He's balling. Once again, Pitts is now, shout out to them Gators. Pitts has finally come alive, thank God. Because I was starting to lose credibility with defending him. But I'm glad that he's starting to wake up a little bit. They look more formidable by the week. But like you said, it starts with the defense, man. Jesse Bates is down there now. They signed him. I know they signed Justin Simmons from Denver there as well, and obviously Judon came there via trade. So they got some guys there that can defend and play at a high level. I think Grady Jarrett's still down there as well. So they got to figure it out, because if they're just middle of the road, they're like 12th overall defensively. They can win maybe a game, maybe 2 in the playoffs, but once again, they got a long way to go. But right now, I like how they're trending.
Bobby, that Steelers-Cowboys game, huh? What'd you make of that? Fucking tough in my household. Tough finish. I thought it was honestly, I thought it was a really competitive, well-contested game. I thought that the Cowboys made changes and adjustments that we were complaining about that they needed to make. They got a young and hungry, well, actually not even young. I mean, the Dowdle's was his 5th year in the league.
Yeah, 5th or 6th.
He's playing for, he's playing for his life, and he was running like it. It really, really brought a spark into that Cowboys offense. Zeke still looked like shit. I think that Dak made the kind of mistakes that Dak makes to lose games, though, still. And I think that if that Steelers offense, and this isn't me trying to, pop your balloon or anything, because I think it was a great win, and I think it's going to be great for your momentum. But, and I will also mention as a quick aside that the Cowboys defense looked like they could actually stop the run, which was nice. I really thought, I was expecting a Justin Fields, like, masterclass, like of him just slashing, just based on how that defense was playing against the run. That's not me being a dick, I swear. But all that being said, Dak did make the Dak mistakes that usually typically cost them games. And if the Steelers looked like they could get anything going, either on the ground or through the air, then maybe they would have won the game. But man, that Steelers offense looked bad. And it was doubly upsetting watching Pickens at the end of the game pull that gross shit, pulling that dude's face mask and like throwing him down, a guy like smaller than him, and like you shouldn't pull his face mask, and you look like a sore loser because the game's over, and you played like shit, and you look like you weren't really trying. I mean, this is the double-edged sword. This is the poison apple with the Steelers, right? Like they get a looking like a fun. They don't look a character ever, really, do they? Like they can get some really juicy seasons out of guys that go absolutely bananas because of the talent that they draft. But man, have they had a lot of fucking divas in that locker room. Man, has that locker room been leaky, which doesn't seem like Steelers culture at all. So, I mean, I'm very low ebb about their offense coming off this week. I mean, Fields did not look good. I still think you got to stick with him because a team where your biggest problem is you can't move the ball on the ground, you're going to put Russell Wilson in there. You think that's going to solve your problems? It's not. I still think you stick with him. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that. But before you guys tell me about the Steelers, Bobby, tell me about the Dallas Cowboys. Am I being too harsh on Dak? I mean, they won the game.
So the Cowboys dominated between the 20s in this game. Absolutely dominated. They outgained the Steelers by like 150 yards. If
their red zone offense, especially in the first half, was one of the worst I'd ever seen.
It's really bad. And it's been like that for almost 2 years. So it's something that is the most frustrating piece of any team, anytime the red zone offense isn't any good.
No, tell me about it.
It's very frustrating.
Because you feel like you've done the hard
part.
Right.
You got all the way down there, right?
Right. Like you feel like you've done the hard part. You got nowhere you need to be. Like you've gotten all the way down. Just that being like it's got to be psychological, right? I know there's short field stuff. Like obviously the advantage goes a little bit more towards the defense when they have less field to guard. I get that. But realistically, like the best teams, they score their red zone efficiency. The best teams in the NFL every single year have the highest red zone efficiency. That's just a fact,
yes.
Right? So like you got to get that dialed in, otherwise you're fucked, and it just wasn't good.
Also, I really thought we were going to lose at the end. I didn't think we had that. So as happy as I am for the win, I
was pretty surprised. I really thought that ball was getting batted down. I really thought that ball was getting. I thought he was close enough to him. I was like, oh,
and the fumble that happened before, you know what I mean? It just seemed like the prototypical Cowboys are going to lose.
I was pretty surprised,
and they came through on fourth down. So,
but they got down the field. They got down the field.
They got it done. So that's why they're back on the list. They play the Lions next, so we'll see how long they stay on the list.
At least you're not here. Well, we'll see. I mean, the Lions have looked a little trick or treat this year too, and I'll say this: at least you're not sitting here being like, the only thing I have to be happy about is Brandon Aubrey. Like there was at least
that was a good.
You got Dowdle. You what's the name of it? What's the name of the homeboy who caught the
Tolbert?
He passed the
Tolbert. Yeah.
Tolbert.
Tolbert.
I'm sure he got scooped up. I'm sure he got scooped up in our fantasy league at some point today. And you beat me to Dowdle. So, there's guys coming out of that where I was watching them. So, Ray, did you watch that game? What'd you make of that matchup? Did it move the needle for either team in any extreme direction? And are you calling for Russ?
I'm not calling for Russ. I still think that Fields is the answer right now. I think that he's earned an opportunity to keep going and keep growing. Once again, we're seeing it happening with, the situation, here with the team I'm a fan of. you're not growing by sitting, with a fucking clipboard. So I want Fields to keep playing. So, fuck all that. The sideline will help you. But, whatever. But once again, give credit to Dak. People have lost faith in his ability to close out. He did that Sunday. So regardless of how ugly it looked, regardless of how bad it was in the first half, the game is not 29 minutes. The game is not 32 minutes. The game is not 47 minutes. It's 60. And it took all 60, but the words of Big Daddy Kane, he got the job done. So
I do on that note, I do want to rescind one criticism I had pretty harshly during the game. Obviously, we're just reacting to that, right? When we're watching it. And Bobby, I think, was the only one still awake. So I was talking to him and I was like really killing Dak for that pick. I was like, how do you not see the guy lurking right there? Like he's there. He was there the whole time. He's like in your cone of vision. I was killing him. Right. And then I noticed it watching it back, I think probably, a day or two later. And I realized that I think CeeDee Lamb was the intended receiver and he ran the wrong route. He didn't curl. He didn't turn at the right time. Something weird happened. Some weird miscommunication thing happened. So it actually wasn't as diabolical of an interception as it first looked, because I thought he just didn't see the guy. But I think he thought his receiver was going to be in front of him. So I'll give him a little bit of reprieve on that, Bobby, just because I know I did talk some shit about him in the group chat. If it even went in.
CeeDee wasn't happy with that interception either, just for the record.
Yeah, some weird went down. So there was a miscommunication. It wasn't just like I didn't see that guy or I threw a fucking terrible shot. And you know what? To Ray, I think to your credit, you're right. I mean, you can't. If I'm going to sit here and bang the drum of they just played who was in front of them, this, that, and the other. They made plays against what I still think is the best defense in the league, and they made plays against them. So they improved from the last week,
Remember, it's and they still did, right? It was 17-13. It wasn't like it was 41 to 37. Defense was played very well, but at the same time, Patrick Queen, Minka Fitzpatrick,
they really couldn't. They weren't penetrating to the degree they normally do either.
Right.
Better than last week.
Where y'all at, and let's say, they're there, but it's like, if you're going to be the defense that, everyone respects and fears and loves, you got to make that stop. Right.
No, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So like that. So, I mean, once again, there's going to be times when you lose, but like I said, Dak, at the end of the day, and once again, we talked about yesterday about him jumping on that fumble, at the end, but it's like that, being that quick, mind or quick witted in that moment, save that drive.
Yeah.
So save the drive, and then
you notice that fumble. I mean, he caught that out of the corner of his eye. Easier said than done when you're wearing a helmet. Easier said than done when you've handed off the responsibility of the play already. Like he saw the ball, he pounced on the ball. That was the defining moment.
So you do that. And
if they get, I mean, that's a fumble that honestly the Steelers recovered probably at an alarmingly high rate. You know what I mean? Like that team recovers fumbles really, really well, and it's because they make plays on the ball. I do think also it's been the Peanut Tillman punch across the whole league has become incredibly fashionable, not as much as it has this year. The Peanut Tillman punch has actually, and I can't believe I'm saying this, it's run amok. Everybody is just throwing right hooks to try to punch the ball instead of making tackles. And and I get that it's sick when it works, but when you miss, you've now arm tackled and failed, right? So you look like an asshole. So the Steelers were doing a lot of that, and I get it. I get that the way that they win games is they turn the ball over on. I understand that. I love that about them. But there was a moment where Tolbert, it was 3rd and long, and the Dallas handed it off for some reason, and Watt was there to wrap up the running back, and he tried to punch it out, and he missed a tackle. And it's Watt's missing open field tackles, coming in from the edge. He did that TJ Watt, arm stretch out. I was like, oh, see you later. And then he just tried the right hook, and he busted it off for a 4th and 1, which then resulted in that big play. So it's man, you just make the tackle, dude. You got to have situational awareness in that situation. So, yeah, I mean, I still think the Steelers are going to have a winning record. I know that they're on a 2-game skid, and so are this next team that we're coming on to talk about, the Buffalo Bills. Still in the power rankings at number 7 because, quite frankly, they did look like the most they had the best playing quarterback across the first 3 weeks. Last 2 weeks, not so much.
Then he got knocked the fuck out.
I would like to chalk. Then he got knocked the fuck out. I would chalk last week's performance up to an uncharacteristic Josh Allen game, and I do think is he going to play against the Jets?
I think so.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about like any sort of weird concussion protocol or anything that came about that. So,
but
I
wouldn't say
it's something he's going to stop the Jets, especially where the Jets are. You know what I mean? So like, let's not go writing these fuckers off just yet. Yeah, I understand why they're still here. They've looked good.
I don't know if it's, and once again, this has been, I'm someone that's been a Josh Allen supporter since we started the show. But I don't know if we could call it uncharacteristics. What I will say, this was a type of performance that was happening pre-Stephon Diggs, right? Those type of moments were happening where he had the gunslinger mentality and he didn't know who he was throwing it to, and it was just like, okay, like, is he going to grow? Yeah, he can run the ball. You can see some talent. He has the arm talent. Can he be the guy? And outside of the throw to Keon Coleman, down the sideline for that touchdown, it was ugly, right?
It was
so
9 of 31.
I feel like 9 of 30, 131, and the touchdown, right? Like that to me, that can't happen, right? Like it's one thing if you went like 20 of like 38 or like 30 of like 44, something like that, fine, whatever. But 30% completion, like that
it was a bad game for him. It was a bad game for him. I'm not denying that. I just think I'm leaning more in the realm of a one-off than a.
Yeah.
I don't think.
The only reason why I'm saying that it's a one-off, and I guess in the context of how he's played in the last few years, sure. But like I said, pre-Stephon Diggs, there was a few games that was similar to this. We just forget because he's been in the league for a while now. You know what I'm saying? So,
but there was also 3 games where he looked like the best QB in the league this year. Like he was making absolutely. I mean, I know this is nothing new. I know this is Josh Allen every single year. Like I get that. But it's just
but I think that's where it wasn't. You don't want to get bored with greatness, and I think that's how I'm sounding right now. So I don't want to make it seem like
no. I get it because it's like if you
put your after that, listen, he had the best. That was the best playoff game I've ever seen, like, or at least top 3, right? That was before Super Bowl, obviously. That was amazing, the duel between him and Mahomes a few years back.
Yeah, we all thought that was going to be the rivalry, right? And then Burrow kind of showed up, and now it's no one.
Joe, Joe creeped there for a little bit, and now he's taking a step back. And so, talent-wise, it should be Josh Allen, right? Because he has
or Lamar.
Yeah, all Lamar, 1 or 2, right? But it's just like they, you're talking about queuing in and taking music, but to quote a line from him, I'm digging holes and taking souls. Like it's like it's been quiet. It's been quiet. If someone step up to be an opponent to Mahomes. So I don't know, but like I said, yeah, it could be a one-off thing. But like I said, it could be scary if they don't figure it out going forward. Especially how they've lost, like I said, 2 in a row. Once again, they looked better against Houston than they did against Baltimore.
They also, I also think we'll talk about this when we get higher up the list, because obviously Houston, spoiler alert, Houston's 3 on the power rankings. And I think that they clicked that like this week. I think I saw Houston finally sort of get the jet engine off the ground. And I think they look like the Texans we thought they were going to look like. And, to what extent is it the Texans coming out and like they were probably going to win that day? You know what I mean? I just thought they looked good. So, and I thought CJ looked good. And I thought that, there's a reason they're number 3 on the power rankings after the 2 undefeated teams, right? And I think that's fair. I was high on them coming into the season. I feel like they had some corrections to make. They looked a little iffy at times against teams maybe they shouldn't have, maybe the Bears included. But, a loss to the Texans isn't the same as a loss to, I don't know, the fucking Panthers, right? So it's not going to knock their stock down too much. But Bobby, skid or full blown slide off a mountain? What are we worried? Or is the same mistake pro football still there? Or what are we thinking?
Although I have to say, Sean McDermott maybe took the cake for the worst coaching decisions of the week with the end of the game, passing the ball 3 times in a row, which ultimately cost.
And that was puzzling.
I don't know what was going on there, especially after the game.
I'd be a little nervous there in the running for what I'm calling the Chargers Award for the talented but worst coach team in the NFL.
McDermott's really bad.
I'm nervous that they might be this year's Chargers, man. I mean, I don't think it'll be that bad because that was some of the worst coaching I've ever seen, ever, like in any season. But that's why it's called the Chargers Award now. But I don't know, man. Like I agree, but I still have some questionable decisions in there, though. You know, so
yeah, but they're going to win that division. I mean, they have the Jets and the Dolphins and the Pats to contend with now. So, I mean, it's
I know that, and I know the Jets. The wheels have fallen off in New York, and they were the only team that was really going to compete with them once Tua went down. So, it's very convenient that they're going to win that division. You know, like at this time, a month and a half ago, it looked like a much more competitive division than we're talking about now. So it's very convenient walk into the championship there for the Buffalo Bills, but we'll see. I really love that you put the Ravens and the Commanders at 5-6 because it makes it so convenient. We can just talk about that game. Probably we'll call it like the fun fucking skill guy game of the week. The Commanders offense looks insane.
That's getting man screen. That's getting man screen on everyone's TV.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can't wait for that game. That's absolutely game of the week this week. Just as far as like, just really excited to see what both teams look like. Ray and I talked yesterday about how Lamar basically had the play of the week with that stiff arm to like almost out of bounds touchdown to, was it Mark Andrews in the end zone?
It was sick.
And I think, yeah, it was awesome. And like, if you're stiff arming pass rushers as Lamar Jackson, like, I mean, it just looks so good. He should have that on a loop on a screen in his house for the rest of his life. Yeah, I would, but they look like two really skilled teams. I was giving it to the Ravens yesterday, and so was Ray, just because I think they have the better defense. And I think that the Commanders, as good as they've looked, you know my thoughts on Kingsbury. I don't think we're at the Kingsbury falls off a cliff portion of the season yet. And I still think that offense will ball out. But I think this is the best team they faced so far. And I think it might be a punch in the mouth game for the Commanders. That's where I'm leaning. What are you looking at here, Bobby? I know you're high.
Yeah, no, I'm very high on the Commanders. This is going to be the highlight of the week game. Second to that highlight was the Jaden Daniels toss down to McLaurin that went down to the one. That was unreal.
I mean, he's a highlight.
Yeah, that was unreal.
I mean, Jaden Daniels is a walking highlight, so it's almost getting.
But no,
but Lamar hasn't as many highlights as usual.
The Russian offense in Baltimore is going to be very tough to stop. So I don't think the Commanders are going to be able to do that.
Nope.
Yeah, no, I'm going Ravens in that game for sure. But it's going to be a great game. I really can't wait for this one. This is going to be unbelievable. To use our old MO.
Yeah,
we're gonna learn a shit ton in this game.
Yeah, we sure are. Yeah, I mean, I think it could be 45-42. Like, to be totally honest with you, that's not discounting the Ravens defense. I don't think they've looked as good as I think they actually are so far this year. This is going to be a big test for them. But Ray, we alluded to this yesterday, or maybe even straight up said it. You're going Ravens in this matchup as well. Do you think they just got too
Baltimore, I think this is the game that, Daniels has a little bit of a slip up. I think that this is where, Baltimore says, hey, we're sort of the king of the DMV. And, it's like playing for all the Mamba sauce. So, what up, Reeves? That's for you, man. What up, man? But yeah, I think that I think it's going to be a great game. But I think Baltimore, shows little brother, hey, y'all not there yet. You're on your way, but you're not there yet.
Yeah. It's a early game, right? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Well,
just wanted to double check. All right. Well, thankfully, Bobby has given us our fun game for the top four. The Lions are coming off a bye, so we don't have like a ton of new information about them to really discuss. But the Chiefs beat the Saints. They're still perfect. They look pretty convincing, if you ask me. But again, I think the Saints were due to fall off a cliff. So yeah, the Chiefs are number one for a reason. The Vikings beat the Jets, basically cost the guy his job. Vikings still looking pretty decent, although I think I'm going to go in a different direction once we actually play this game. Texans starting to finally look like the Texans, and maybe emerging as the most likely contender to stop the Chiefs coming into the postseason. Early days yet, and the Lions obviously coming off a bye. So if the Lions played the Vikings in the NFC Championship game and the Chiefs play the Texans in the AFC Championship game, Ray, which way would you go for each matchup? What would our Super Bowl be?
It would still be Chiefs Lions.
It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Who would win?
KC is getting the third.
Yeah,
KC is getting the third.
So depressing.
And I once again, as I want to say this because this hasn't been said on the show. If he gets the third in a row, that puts him in the Brady category. I don't want it. Listen, I don't want to.
No.
Yeah, for him to have once again,
we didn't allow the conversation to happen about Brady before he got to the Montana number. So we have to wait until
I agree, but I'm not the haters that those guys were. If you went 3 in a row, once again, you do something that Brady never did. So you forever had that feather in your cap. Yeah, you lost to him, right? You lost to him in the Super Bowl, but to win 3 in a row, I say in the Brady category, I say he's gonna be better than him, but he's in that category. If you just say, hey, you went 3 in a row, you got that feather in your cap, you done something that he never did. So that would matter.
Can I ask you something just in response to that? Just and I just a totally honest answer, if you don't mind. Not that you're not always honest.
Yep.
Has Patrick Mahomes played against a quarterback as good as Peyton Manning?
Well, I mean, yeah. You mean in the Super Bowl? You mean?
Well, I mean, I guess he did lose.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Has he beaten a quarterback as good as Peyton Manning?
Yes, himself, Tom Brady. That's hilarious.
No,
Tom Brady was the answer to the question.
Has he beaten a quarterback as good as Drew Brees?
Yeah. Joe Burrow's as good as Drew.
Yeah.
So is Josh Allen.
Yeah, I'd say yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'll say that. Yeah.
You sure? Because Drew Brees has a Super Bowl.
Right, but I'm
neither of those guys.
That's true.
Well, as far as talent-wise, though. Yeah, talent-wise,
talent-wise.
But hey, Manny, no.
But Drew Brees is a proven winner. You know what I mean? Like he's proven that he can go to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. Those guys haven't. So for me, I'd rather face one of those two guys, to be honest, because they haven't proven that they can win a Super Bowl. Drew Brees has.
Yeah,
like
prime Drew Brees.
Not really, but you guys were there. You're watching Drew Brees throw for 450 fucking yards every week. Like, I don't know. Is it because he's short? Is that why Drew Brees isn't getting any love? My man's throwing
part of it, and once again, not to stray too far away, but this is a good discussion. I think that he got drafted to a favorable situation. It doesn't mean that it was going to work just because it was favorable, right? His talent is head and shoulders above everyone else right now.
No, of course, I'm not taking anything away from him.
Someone had to be, someone had to come take the throne after Brady and Manning on the left. And it's been him. Once again, people would thought maybe Lamar or Josh or Burrow or whoever it may be, but 15 right now stands alone. And
no, that's definitely true. But I just my thing on it is, if you're gonna start, if he, let's put ourselves in the position where he's won the third, like fuck it, give it to him. He's done it.
Right.
But the game has
he still doesn't have. It's just going to be so easy for me to win.
When you for his wins, it'd be Jimmy Garoppolo, Jalen Hurts. Was Jalen Hurts twice? No. Who they beat?
Jimmy Garoppolo, Jalen Hurts.
Right. So yeah, I mean that's not an impressive list. Especially with Jimmy G, as much as he was like the pair, but he just wasn't. He was an overthrown ball to Emmanuel Sanders for them being champions. So,
if we have to have the argument, I don't know why I'm mantling myself as the big defender of Tom Brady, but I was there. I watched him play.
I was. I mean, we all were, but I'm saying, I think to me,
3 in a row, special.
Just once again, giving subjective. Once again, objectively, I'm always gonna ride with 12. Like he's my favorite player of all time. Like,
no, of course.
But I'm saying, just when you have an opportunity to make history, and we might see history this year. Once again, 3 in a row, that's hard. Once again, I've seen back to back. I've seen it. And I just knew that third was going to be ours. And then Denver ruined it. Fucking Jake Plummer, but that's a whole other story another day. But it's like, wow, is there going to be a Jake Plummer that comes about and ruins? Is CJ Stroud going to be a better Jake Plummer and ruin it? We'll see. I would love that, because I want us to keep the team the last team to go, but 2 last teams to go back to back. So I don't want to see.
I still think 3 in a row if somebody was here, if a diehard Kansas City Chiefs fan was here on this podcast, and it's fast forward to this time next year, he's won 3 in a row, and he wants to tell me with a straight face that Mahomes is now the GOAT and Brady's out of the way, and he's going to say 3-peat, and I'm going to say a bunch of different shit for like a while, right? Like, this is the thing. Like, one more undefeated season, biggest comeback in the history of the Super Bowl, just stats, touchdowns,
Super Bowls.
You know, I mean, I'm just considering all day. It's going to be so easy for me to win that argument. It's going to be so easy
for sure. And but just to even add more context, right? Could I get it? Could I know a few?
And you did say in the conversation, you didn't say like
definitive. Yeah. So just to add more context as to why, especially KC fans feel the way they feel. Because I do know a few offline. So that was I'm talking from Elvis Gerbach days. I'm not talking. There was Mahomes.
I remember Elvis.
You know what I'm saying? So
also
Ravens. They had
Ravens too.
They had Elvis. You know the obviously we were alive during the Trey Green era when they were really good then with the Eddie Kennisons, the Dante Halls, Tony Gonzalez, the Priest Holmes. They had a really good run then, right? But then they tailed off. They get Matt Castle. Matt Castle gets a Pro Bowl, but that doesn't really, do much after that. Then they get Alex Smith, and he has that. So in their minds, it's like, look, we haven't had a guy to hold on to since Len Dawson in the 60s, 70s. So it's like, listen, this guy puts us back on the map when we were only known for Masterpiece Barbecue, but now that Masterpiece is taking place at Arrowhead, we're like, listen, this is the guy. So I get it. That's why they gravitate to him the way they gravitate. I get it. Once again, like I said, I will always say 12, but like I said, this man is by far in the conversation. Like I said, it's not close. To me, he surpassed what do you call it? He surpassed Manning, he surpassed Devin surpassed Aaron Rodgers. Like I just, to me, it's only him and Brady. It's only him.
I still put Montana in the conversation, but
well, yeah, sorry, yeah. So yeah, Joe Montana says, well, yeah, sure. So to me, it's them 3, and it's like everyone else is underneath, in my opinion.
Well, they're probably going to 3-peat if the power rankings keep going the way that they're going. They haven't lost a game, and they're rolling.
They haven't lost.
Gentlemen, I really hope you enjoy.
They haven't lost this game in 3 years.
No, man. They also haven't lost the Super Bowl in 2, coming on 3. So it's for good reason. Guys, I hope you really enjoy your football. We're recording this on Wednesday. I hope the Thursday night football game is great. I hope you have a great Sunday of football, 7 hours commercial free, however you do it, however you take it in. But we'll talk about it all next week. This has been, thank you everyone, the Power Rankings on Missing.
Hi, I'm Sherilyn Fenn from Twin Peaks. What did you do on your last Saturday night?
Did you hear something?
Toilet paper.
There's nada. The reserves have gone dry. People are hoarding it. I should have done that.
They're all out of hand sanitizer at my Target.
Mark, when did you last watch the news?
We are getting reports of forced quarantines in China, Japan, and now Italy.
You're cutting onions in half and putting them around your apartment.
Yes, exactly. It kills the COVID.
Excuse me?
Let's go, get in.
Vamos, rápido.
Have you ever driven one of these?
Never.
I'll drive, ladies.
I've got the keys.
Excuse me, I'm lost. I'm looking for my wife. I got turned around.
Join me, Eric Roberts, Jennifer Elise Cox, and Ed Asner for The Last Saturday Night, an Electrocast podcast. You'll love it. Electrocast. Electrocast.